you remember that they're changing my voice. Bad dating judgment is a huge problem. And on top of that, they control dating sites to a ridiculous degree. Part of what they say is that they don't want people to look up to certain types of people, and they've been doing this for a long time. They've been doing it since before 9/11, and they wanted to create a cover story. And that's why 9/11 occurred and these other things are occurring. War profiteering is first and foremost about sexual control. They want to get more bang for their buck, and I've been saying this for over a decade. On record, on YouTube, what have you. The psychological effect of porn, of rape scenes, of seeing females dress in a way that's sexually provocative, sexually suggestive, of strippers, of sex workers, the psychological effect of swimsuit models, the psychological effect that comes from these things. And seeing females on the news like the one, on the screen, who send nudes to little boys, who have sex with them, and oftentimes they go into detail and say they give them a blowjob or this, that, and the other thing. Okay, it pisses people off. One of the main reasons females get raped, in fact, the main reason in a sense, is their bad dating judgment. It pisses people off. And for those of you who are dumb enough to doubt me, think about it like this. What percent of guys do you think are inclined to rape a nun? What percent of rapists, rather? Male rapists are inclined to rape a nun. Maybe 2%, maybe. Probably less than 1%. When you don't respect females for a good reason, you're more likely to want to rape them, whether you're a rapist or not. I'd go as far as to say 80 to 90% plus of guys, probably more like 99%, have had thoughts of rape. Because when you present an unfair situation, you want to take something. For example, if this economy was twice as bad, a lot more people would be thinking about stealing. And there's a thin line between not having sex, and not getting enough to eat or drink. That's why quite often when they say that someone desires a female, in the ghetto, for example, they say that they're thirsty. When rappers say and gangsters say that they're trying to eat, they mean they're trying to get their money and everything that comes with it, including abroad. Pretty straightforward. When I see that picture of that female on the screen, with that mind control look in her eyes, I know two things. One, that she was born not very smart, needing to obey God through me for more than one reason. Everyone needs to obey God through me, but especially people like that. They're vulnerable in this society. When the storm of the Lord came, and the devil came to test her, she failed because her family failed, because her community failed, her country failed, her whatever churches she might go to, they failed. And two, that they hacked her brain remotely to some degree at some point. And the evidence strongly suggests that she sent that nude to that boy because they hacked her brain. And you get these stupid, arrogant, privileged dogs who are doing all the hacking, and their punks and their social clubs, the secret societies, and their groups, including Freemasonry. And they act like they're better than people. They act like they should be taking more control instead of giving up power. Look, let me end by saying this for you fucking idiots who are not men. Vir and virtue means man. You're not men. If both your political parties didn't fail, if all those Masonic presidents who they've acknowledged are Masons, George Washington, Monroe, Johnson, Jackson, McKinley, Gerald Ford, Truman, the Roosevelts, all those Masonic presidents that they swear up and down, don't prove anything or something, they didn't fail collectively every step of the way. How come they've never ended homelessness in this country? This country spends like $5.6 trillion a year or so in the last 10 years. During Trump's last presidency, it was like over $6 trillion. Something to that effect. Every year. So let's go with the number $6 trillion. they had spent $10 billion more a year for the last 10 years, they would have ended homelessness with a surplus of units. There's other things they could have done, mind you. What's the difference between 6 trillion and 6.01 trillion? 6 trillion, 10 billion. When it comes to inflation, that's a fucking year, mind you. If it was 100 billion, it would be 1/60th of their spending, of how much they spend. 1/60th on top of their spending. 1/60th more. Since it's only 10 billion, it's just 1/600th of what they've spent more. 1/600th. You know how many people have been victims of crimes? You know how many people have turned to drugs to keep warm as homeless people? You know how many people have suffered because they wouldn't add 1/600th more to the spending when they didn't hesitate to bomb Iran? They didn't hesitate to send soldiers unnecessarily to Los Angeles. They didn't hesitate to seal the border. Well, they're not hesitating to cause homeless people to suffer because they're fucking retarded. And that same stupidity trickles down to females when it's time to date. Before mind control was this drastic, they still dated like dumb fucks, generally speaking, the vast majority of them. They still wanted the wisest and most righteous and handsome of men to settle. And I'm not talking about whites and Jews, okay, because they're neo-colonialist people, which limits how high up there they can be. If you come from a long line of people that colonized motherfuckers, took their land, raped and killed their women, if you then turn around and say, hey, I must be, among the top 100 most desirable guys? No. Your heritage is your heritage. And there's no escaping that. You can be better than your predecessors, but you cannot be better than the best of the people that you and your bloodlines have been sabotaging for fucking generations. It cannot be done. These people love at times like this to say, leave that out. Or to try to distract me so I don't bring it up. Females who don't use that scale are dumber than shit. Females who don't use that scale, who are white and Jewish, are racist in favor of their race. It is fucking pathetic. Where do you think these mind control technologies come from? Perhaps they come from South fucking Africa, from the poorest blacks there. Or Nigeria, or Somalia, or Kenya, or Sierra Leone. Perhaps they come from fucking Yemen. Where the fuck you think they come from? When a dumb bitch has her brain hacked, whether or not I'm talking about that chick on the screen or not, what groups you think are responsible? One specific white guy? One specific Jew? One specific LGBT person? Or a large group of them who the other ones are afraid to face? When's the last time you've seen them tell the truth about everything? And I'm not saying this to be racist. I'm saying this to say, wake up, everybody, especially if you're white, Jew, or LGBT. If you keep on this fucking path, you'll have lived and died like a fucking bitch. You think you won't have? Vir in virtue means man. Bitch does not mean man. Denial, having bitch, does not mean man.